Wexford, and this week we're going to look at Streptocarpus and repotting them. But before we start, I want to show you the ones that I have that are still in flower at the moment. First up we have a Dibley's one. This is Crystal Ice, and its claim to fame is that it's a perpetually flowering Streptocarpus, and indeed it has kept going all winter. Then the next ones that I want to show you are from the wonderful Russian or Ukrainian hybridizer, Pavel Enikiev, and he goes under the name of Dimetris. It's the Dimetris breeding school, and there are some really fantastic hybrids that have come out of that operation. The first one here that's still in flower is DS-Legend, and you can see it's a double and it's really big flowers. But there's something really exciting about these. They're a little bit old-fashioned, what with the doubles and the dark colours, but yet exciting at the same time. So I think it's just fantastic. Well, my favourite is this one behind. This one's called Hawaiian Party. And these blooms are a little bit small, but normally, I mean, perhaps that's because it's winter, normally they're great big flowers. It's just a fantastic one. All those markings on the petals are really, really gorgeous. And the third Dimetris one that's still in flower is this little dark fella down here. This is DS Black Magic. Let's just hold up the petal there. And it really, really is dark. Almost black, as in the name, I guess. And then the last one that I still have in flower is a Polish hybrid. This one over here. And this one is called Cynamon, and it comes from the very famous Polish hybridizer, Piotr Kleszczynski. And it's really quite beautiful. If you're looking at the lip here, the red on the lip has, you know, there's a lot of, let me see if I can pull it down to show. There's a lot of detail in there, really quite beautiful. Pink and red. So we're going to repot our Streptocarpus now. And there are three things to consider. 1, when to repot. 2, what mix to use. And 3, the size of the pot. Now Streptocarpus need to be potted on frequently. They need fresh soils frequently, every 6 to 9 months. So don't repot in winter, but spring is a very good time. The second thing to consider is the pot size. And what you need to use is a shallow pot. Yeah, okay, so a shallow pot, if possible. If you don't have a shallow pot, don't beat yourself up about it. It's more important to get the mix right than to have a shallow pot. But in terms of diameter, what you want is a pot that is going to give the plant 1/2 inch to 1 inch's space around between the root ball and the edge of the pot. So if I'm going to repot this fella here, and I put him in the pot there, you can see the space that's being left around the edge. That's about right. So that's the pot size. And then the next thing we need to do is to make up the mix. And there are various recipes for the Streptocarpus mix, but the most important thing is that it be food draining. And if you use the wick method to water, then you're going to have an extra free draining mix, but I don't use that, so I just water by hand. So what I would use is 4 parts peat, 1 part perlite and 1 part vermiculite. Now here's the peat. And obviously we're all conscious about only using peat where absolutely necessary because of, well, obvious reasons, but you do need it for Streptocarpus. So 4 measures of peat. And this is kind of handy because I recently potted on my peonies, and that involved taking the lumps out of the peat for use in the peony compost. So it should be nice and lump free. Okay, so that's 1 measure. 2 measures, 3 measures, and oops, it's filling up properly. Okay, 4 measures of peat in there. 1 measure of vermiculite. Close your mouth when you do this. The dust is very bad for your lungs. Approximately 1 measure of vermiculite and a measure of perlite. And these are all great materials for making sure that the roots of Streptocarpus aren't sitting in water, and they're very free draining. Okay, so it's all mixed up now, and this is what your compost should look like. Very, very free draining. Lots of vermiculite and perlite in it. And so the first thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of the mix at the bottom of the pot, just like that. And now I'm taking my plant and I'm going to get it out of the pot. It helps if you moisten them a little bit first. Okay, out we get. Now you can see, desperate need of repotting. I don't know if there's even any old soil I can knock off this one. No, I don't think so. I think I'm just going to leave it as is. Right, so what you need to do, actually, your new mix is give it a little bit of water. So put a little bit of water in there to just moisten it slightly. Okay. Right, and take the plant, put it into the pot, obviously. Be very careful about your level. I mean, your plant has got to be at the same level as it was in the previous pot. If you bury it too deep, you're going to get it to rot, and if you leave it proud of the soil, then you'll run into different kinds of problems. So in we go with the new mix all around. Okay, right, so that's all firmed in nicely. Just in terms of cleaning up, you might have a look down at the crown of the plant to see if there are any peduncles. See the stick there? That's where a previous flower was, and we should remove those because you don't want your plant getting woody in at the neck. And just be careful you don't pop off a leaf while you're doing this. But this is a good time to do that. See, that woody stuff is easily taken out. And there, we took a leaf off. Right, that's what not to do. Okay, I might get a scissors and just trim that. Okay, so that's your plant repotted, and I'll give that a little bit of water. It's best if you water Streptocarpus with warm water, and because it's February now, it's time to recommence your feeding regime. I feed mine with orchid feed, but usually quarter strength tomato feed is what's used. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I hope you like this video.